Our protagonist Jin rests against a massive tree in a sunlit forest. Waking up in the woods, the boy notes he just had another perfect night of sleep. It has been a month since he arrived, but he avoids fighting while pushing through the thick brush. Spotting a beast, he reminds himself that he only hunts for food, not for insane fun. He leaps in and strikes, knowing that consuming these monsters can grant him their unique powers. Swallowing a glowing essence core grants him power, and an insignia reveals he is a rank 3 mercenary. Carrying this rank 3 mercenary tag means there must be other people living somewhere nearby. Suddenly, his eyes widen as he spots a bright light through the trees. He almost steps into a trap. Realizing people are close by, he moves toward the clearing. Breaking through the brush, he spots a small wooden house. Inside the empty house, he finds a thick book. It is a chronicle of the demon realm, detailing this strange world. This chronicle is essential for his survival, since it records every history and term in incredible detail. A floorboard creaks as a deep voice demands his identity, threatening to put a hole in his head. Our guy is relieved to see a person, even if this scarred man is aiming a crossbow at him. He explains he entered out of curiosity, but the man named Hector just tells him to get lost. Before leaving, he offers to pay the hunter for a chance to read that precious chronicle. The man asks what happens if he refuses, and our guy realizes he might have to become a bandit. He prepares to use force, his eyes glow as he gets ready to win. Instead of shooting, Hector chuckles and says a real bandit wouldn't have asked to read a book. The man explains the book is too precious to lend out, surprising the boy by lowering his guard. The hunter offers a place to stay if the boy helps out with some simple chores. Accepting the offer, he thanks the man as night falls. His stay begins with a bowl of warm soup, which feels like a gift from an angel. The next morning, the hunter heads out for a long hunt to get revenge. Alone now, our boy reads about the Northern Empire and its king's blinding greed. Driven by a desire for absolute power, the king opened a gate to another world and started a calamity. Demonic beasts poured out, turning the North into a demon realm within 9 years until humanity finally united. He shuts the book, having read how the Holy Order Alliance built a barrier to stop the spread. While the boy ponders how beasts get stronger deeper in the realm, the hunter is outside sprinting for his life. He remembers that monsters got weaker near the light and wonders just how deep he had been wandering. He wonders how strong he is as a werewolf lunges at the hunter. The snarling beast snaps its jaws, closing in on the panicked man. Hector plants his feet and fires 3 glowing projectiles from his crossbow. The monster easily swats the shots aside, leaving the hunter cursing in frustration. Gritting his teeth, the man spots a familiar figure approaching through the trees. He screams for the boy to run, but our guy ignores the warning and leaps high into the air. The hunter watches in awe as the boy dives from the sky like a glowing comet. The lethal shadow descends before the beast has time to react. The beast lunges, but our boy's blade is already in motion. An arc of energy splits the monster in a single stroke. Our guy lands in a crouch as the hunter stands speechless over the one-shot kill. The werewolf is dead in a single strike, leaving the rest of the pack snarling from the shadows. Standing in the wreckage, the boy sheathes his blade and asks the stunned man if that was a strong beast. The hunter can only stare in a daze, still clutching his crossbow as he's called out to. Our guy asks again if that counts as a strong magic beast, leaving the man baffled as the title displays. The hunter confirms it was incredibly strong, leaving the boy to thoughtfully process his own power scale. He turns to deal with the other 40 snarling wolves before hearing the rest of the details. Meet our protagonist Jin. He knows 40 of these wolves are enough to get him killed if he lets his guard down. Rather than a head-on fight, he plans to slit the throat of the one next in rank after the leader to crush their morale instantly. The boy spots the large wolf at the front and knows that's his target. He locks on. His intent is so sharp, the wolf growls back with glowing eyes. The lead wolf looks confused and terrified as the boy's movement sends them yelping. The leader barks a panicked alarm, and the pack flees as MC moves like a ghost. Hector is baffled. He asks, "They ran away?" Since those wolves are famous for their ferocity. Our boy just rests his chin on his hand, thinking they were quick to read the situation. Back at the cabin, the veteran explains that the werewolf the kid killed has a bounty of at least 40 gold coins. Our boy asks if that's a lot, and the old man nearly loses it. He shouts that it's enough to live off for 6 or 7 years without lifting a finger, leaving the kid stunned. Even the veteran is shocked that such a worthless mutt carried a bounty that high. MC realizes that if a weak magic beast like a werewolf pays this well, he can just hunt another whenever he's short on cash. He breaks into a devious grin at the thought of raking in a fortune. Seeing the gold and pelt, he thinks life here might be easier than his last 12 years. The veteran packs werewolf leather, jerky, and a map. Our boy murmurs this is while looking, MC is directed to Jacob in a pioneer village. He asks if it's okay to take such valuables. The veteran insists he's just paying what he owes and hopes they meet again if fate allows. The old man thanks him for the vengeance and offers a handshake to seal their bond. Bowing, the kid thanks him for everything before leaving. A two-tailed creature growls from the rocks as he passes. Reaching the village, he finds the gate surprisingly well fortified. The kid notes the village is well equipped and wonders if this is the right place. He walks past a spear-wielding guard, entering the village under heavy stairs. Everyone is on edge. Our boy realizes humans here might be more dangerous than magic beasts. A muscular bartender offers him a beer. He asks where he can find someone named Jacob. A man peeling an apple with a knife looks up and asks how he can help. The boy is unimpressed by the shifty contact, suspecting he lives off scamming others. The scammer is shocked. The veteran caught a werewolf. Our boy sees no need to correct him. The con artist mutters that the old veteran finally pulled it off, laughing that he's still a pro. The scammer smiles while admiring the pelt. Sensing danger, the kid asks what they're doing. The contact promises to spare his life if he hands over the hide. The protagonist asks if the scammer has been pulling this kind of stunt from the start. The con artist scoffs that supplying the veteran was a loss, and he needs this pelt to make up for his piled-up losses. Our boy realizes his first hunch was right, and you really can judge a man by his face. MC wonders if he should just kill the guy but tries to keep his restraint. He is suddenly cut short when the scammer throws a mug of beer in his face. The con artist sneers at the kid to get lost. Beer drips from the boy's hair as he slowly stands up. The scammer mocks the drenched kid and tells him to get lost. The boy stays silent as the beer drips, processing the insult. The protagonist doesn't walk away. Instead, he turns back and tells the contact that if he planned to stab someone in the back, he should have finished the job from the start. The scammer laughs and calls him a brat who doesn't value his life. He signals the thugs, who lunge with a scream as they strike. Looking at the scum with red glowing eyes, our boy decides he won't feel a shred of guilt killing them. He dodges as a massive blade swings down with a scream of die. Steel clashes as the kid easily moves through the group like a shadow. Noting the attacks are fast, he ducks a swing and draws his own weapon. He slashes the lead thug's chest in a blur of motion and blood. He dodges an axe that smashes into the floorboards and strikes back instantly, painting the walls with blood. The boy blocks a strike from a thug shouting, "You little!" before leaping over another attack to deliver a series of lethal, rapid slashes. The last man is cut down, leaving the kid standing in the carnage with a blood-splattered face while the scammer trembles. The scammer wonders where this monster came from. He realizes someone this strong shouldn't be around and fears he is dead meat. He slashes through the thugs, cutting them down with lethal efficiency. He watches from the center of the carnage as the final man hits the floor. The scammer screams for everyone to run while the remaining thugs scramble away. People burst through windows to escape. Outside, the con artist falls and gasps in terror at what's waiting for him. A giant red wolf approaches with a low growl. The scammer panics, asking why a magic beast is in the village as our boy steps out behind him. The beast growls as the man cowers. MC calmly asks if this is the lead wolf. The boy asks if the beast came here to die too. The wolf is visibly intimidated by his bloodlust. The wolf suddenly rolls over like a puppy, leaving the thugs totally confused. Baffled, our boy wonders if the mangy mutt is actually trying to act cute. Jin points a gloved finger at the terrified Jacob and commands his beast to bite. The wolf obeys instantly, leaping through the air with its jaws wide open. Jacob screams in agony as the wolf pins him down and sinks its teeth into his arm. Our boy watches the carnage, thinking the wolf's performance isn't bad at all. Jacob sweats and panics, wondering how to escape the disgusted, cold gaze of his killer. The thug prostrates himself and begs for his life, promising anything. Our boy knows a fool like him will fold after a few apologies anyway, but he's already planning future revenge. He looks up and stammers, "Sir," but our boy just stays silent. He wonders who this bastard thinks he's fooling before a memory surfaces. In a past life, a factory manager claims the company's situation is bad. Back then, our boy softened up and believed it couldn't be helped. He accepted it then, but his paycheck was pushed back for months while the manager practiced golf and mocked him. That manager used to yell about enduring together and call kids selfish. Our boy recalls being an easy mark, but he learned a valuable lesson from that exploitation. The thug grins as he draws a hidden knife, screaming "Die" as he lunges at the motionless boy. He blocks the blade, telling the trash that people who screw others over never learn to reflect. He raises his sword as the thug screams one final, desperate insult. One decisive swing delivers the fatal blow as blood sprays the air. Standing over the lifeless body, he vows to never be a sucker again. Next is the mutt, who approaches him carrying a small pouch in its mouth. The wolf drops a pouch of gold and nuzzles him when asked to stay. He pets the crafty thing and tells Doggo they'll get along from now on. Our boy wakes up in a pioneer city, his body heavily scarred and bandaged from recent battles. He sighs contentedly, having just enjoyed a perfect night's sleep. Feeling light as air, he heads outside to wash his scarred body and exhales a long breath. He reflects on killing so many people and wonders why he feels no guilt. Was it just because they were trash? The feeling was the same as when he hunts magic beasts. Something deep inside him has started to change. He wonders if he's cursed, but decides that at least he survived, and that's what matters. Our boy knows life will be different now. He'll avoid the unfairness of his old life and just enjoy the present. Arriving at the 5th pioneer city, he orders the wolf to stay hidden and out of sight while he claims a bounty. He heads toward the Church Federation towers for his reward, thinking Mutt is a bad name to keep using. He finds the Church Federation and drops the massive werewolf pelt onto the counter, asking if he's in the right place. The clerk dismisses it as a joke at first, but freezes when he realizes it's actually a werewolf hide. After confirming he hunted it alone, he's taken to a grand office to wait for his gold. The official apologizes for the delay and confirms the hide is genuine. He hands over a sack of gold, a reward that could let our boy live for 7 years. Seeing it in person makes the win feel real. Looking at the gold, he realizes money is truly a wonderful thing. He trembles with a greedy smile, different from the thrill of a hunt, while the official watches him nervously. The official asks if he'd like another request. A magic beast appeared at a nearby quarry, and it's been causing them a serious headache. This beast stopped the bloodstone mining, putting the whole city on the brink of collapse. It's supposedly even stronger than a werewolf, but the official thinks he can handle it. He asks for a name, and the official reveals it's a mad skull with a 70 gold coin bounty. Our boy recognizes the name from his travel log. He remembers facing a massive creature with a bone-white plate covering its head. The monster is named for that thick, cracked bone plate that guards its glowing red eyes. It's a frenzied beast far stronger than a werewolf. The first time he killed one, it took a month, and he died 28 times. When the official nervously asks if he can hunt it, he looks up with a sharp grin and says, "Of course." He arrives at the massive quarry and sees how the monster has completely halted all work at the site. Our guy wants to finish this quickly to escape the mine's chilling atmosphere, unaware he's being watched. A group of mercenaries led by a man named Jonathan stops him. They claim they were here first, but our boy asks, since when is there an order for hunting? Jonathan suggests they hunt together. Our boy weighs whether joining is better than wasting time waiting for his turn, even if he has to split the reward. A mercenary grumbles about splitting the reward. Our boy puts his hand on his sword and asks why they even want him if they have plenty of manpower. Jonathan laughs and admits he values safety over achievements. That's why he wants the extra help. Jonathan says the boy is strong, but our guy narrows his eyes and asks what led him to that conclusion. The leader points at the wolf. Wolf-type beasts are fiercely independent, and since even the Church Federation hasn't tamed one, seeing it follow our boy is proof enough. Our boy is just annoyed the hidden mutt popped out for a piece of meat. He's actually a bit jealous of the dish since he hasn't even tasted food like that yet. Cooked meat hits the quarry dust while the red wolf stands over it. Jin wonders when was the last time he had real meat, even if a dog touched it. Suddenly, Claire puts a hand on the food, asking if he's hungry and wants some. She smiles warmly as the crew enters the quarry's glowing, crystal-lined tunnels. The meat is amazing, with spicy juices far better than survival rations, before the girl mentions introductions. Jonathan, head of the Black Marlin mercenaries, says to ask anything anytime, and Jin just says he understands. The leader brings them to the pit and orders teams to set up while everyone shouts, "Yes, sir!" Jonathan asks the girl to begin, and Jin watches for real magic as white feathers appear. He recognizes the ritual from a travel log while she asks for a blessing on the land. Energy washes over them during Feather Step, and Jonathan says the buff is incredible. The boy predicts the beast arrives in 3 to 5 minutes as the leader lures it. The leader dashes off, making our guy wonder if he can learn magic before being warned it's here any second. The leader warns one mistake means death, while Jin watches them plan to overwhelm the beast with firepower. Jin doubts the strategy works on a mad skull just as a massive shadow looms. The mad skull charges into the zone with a massive roar. Mercenaries shout in alarm and ready the heavy nets for the raging beast. The leader screams pull, as the team heaves ropes to net the thrashing monster. Javelins are hurled, thudding deep into the creature's thick hide. Straining against the net, the beast makes the mercenaries lose their footing. From above, the boy watches the monster overpower the team and drag the men along. The leader asks how they can't restrain one beast as it rips the net apart. With glowing red eyes, the beast charges and breaks the mercenary formation. The girl watches the carnage in horror, realizing it's stronger than they planned. He drops down right in front of the rampaging monster. Jin catches the tusk with his bare hands, stopping the charge as the girl screams it's dangerous. Our boy tells the girl not to worry, claiming he knows exactly how to hunt this. He leaps onto the snout, draws a dagger, and targets a vital point. He plunges his blade while she watches the clash intensify from the background. The beast tosses him away as he admits he let his guard down while feathers swirl. The girl shouts she'll help too, casting a buff that lifts a 30 kilograms weight off his shoulders. With the speed buff, the boy realizes he can hunt this easily. Jonathan, the Black Marlin leader, offers help, but our guy orders them to stay back. He says he's more comfortable alone and leaps to strike from above in a teal light. He knows this monster is just a pig that runs in predictable straight lines. The monster struggles to turn as our guy dodges with blinding speed, deciding to first tie down its feet. Blood sprays as the monster's charge is cut short and it collapses on wounded limbs. As the beast crashes down, he notes how the buff makes chasing him impossible and readies for the second step. He knows he can't cut longsword-like tusks with a machete, so he targets something softer. He slices into the nose, its weak point, making it squeal as the pain worsens with every movement. Thinking it's too much of a burden to attack, he slashes its side until it rumbles and collapses. Our boy says its turn is over, delivers a final neck slash, and watches the feathers dissipate, horrified by the carnage. The leader asks what happened while the girl says they need to find Jin first. The wolf blocks them, growling a warning not to come closer to the legendary magic beast. The wolf yawns as the boy emerges, and the leader shouts in relief while looking at the massive, motionless corpse. Wiping blood from his mouth, our boy confirms he consumed the essence, telling them the beast is just pork now. The leader asks if he really did this solo, but a rhythmic rumble shakes the ground as the wolf senses danger. Another mad skull emerges with a threatening oink, forcing the crew into a defensive battle formation. The girl shouts for them to wait, spotting babies huddling against the mother as it stands its ground. The mother squeaks at her fallen mate and retreats peacefully with her babies. The leader is relieved, but the girl feels bad they ruined the mother's home, making victory feel like a tragedy. The boy is glad things ended peacefully as night settles over the fifth frontier city. Inside a rowdy tavern, Captain Jonathan raises his arms to cheer for his happy men. He is thrilled they hunted a mad skull monster without anyone getting seriously hurt, shouting that it is finally payday, the joy of labor and the flower of hard work. The mercenaries roar with joy, but the girl is confused. The reward was supposed to be 70 gold coins, yet there is way more than that on the table. The captain just laughs boisterously, saying it is all thanks to him causing a scene. He explains that since the job was way more dangerous than the intel provided, he negotiated the reward up to 110 gold coins. The mercenaries are thrilled, but the captain looks at the protagonist, who is standing by the wall, for approval on his deception. Leaning in with a sly grin, he admits he lied a bit to get the extra cash. His crew just laughs, since a lie becomes truth if you do not get caught. Watching them, our boy realizes these people have a much different moral code than the ones back in Pioneer Village. The captain claps a hand on our boy's shoulder and announces to the whole tavern that he's giving the kid half the profits. Everyone goes quiet as they look at him, while our protagonist is completely shocked by the massive offer. With sincere gravity, the captain insists that without the boy, they all would have died a dog's death. He says everyone wants him to have the gold, and the other mercenaries smile and give thumbs up to show they genuinely respect his power. Realizing not everyone here is bad, our boy grabs a tankard and slams it onto the table. He shouts a thank you and says he will pay for all the drinks today, which gets a roar of laughter and a toast from the captain. While the crew chugs from barrels and sings loudly, the mage quietly slips out to the door. Our boy asks where she is going, and she gives a calm smile, explaining she is heading out to practice her magic in the quiet night. Under the moon, the girl meditates on a hill, while our hero wonders why she is still training after such an exhausting mission. Watching from the shadows, the boy is impressed by her dedication. He stares at the glowing aura, clearly intrigued by the nature of her magic. The girl is completely shocked, asking if he really wants to learn magic before breaking into a bright smile. She tells him she would be more than happy to teach him, especially since she wanted to give him a gift anyway. Our boy is surprised she agreed so easily. She explains that while the captain was useless, the kid saved her from that charging monster, so teaching him is the least she can do. The mage complains about groups that fail to protect their mages, but the captain just calls the kid special. He warns that magic takes time and they leave the village in 2 days, so the girl suggests the boy just join them. The captain wonders why such a strong hunter would follow them, but while he blathers on about brave wolves being alone, our boy realizes he has nothing to do and asks where they are heading next. They are heading to Pioneer City number 4 for a big job. Our boy claims he was already heading that way, making the mercenaries smirk because he is such a terrible liar. The captain hugs him, welcoming their reliable new ally as the boy's next destination is set. The group travels with a Tarask, a massive spiked beast tamed by humans for heavy transportation. Amazed by its incredible size, the boy realizes this is the pack animal he read about in the records, while the captain shouts for them to keep moving. Under the moon, our boy reflects that learning something new is difficult because of the constant effort of repetition. Growth is slow and plateaus are agonizing, but the sweaty and exhausted hero is well acquainted with that kind of pain. The 12 years of agony he endured to survive the demonic realm made him strong enough to keep going until things finally work. After 10 days of trying, mana finally flashes. The girl claps and cheers that he successfully sensed magic, though the kid still finds the process incredibly difficult. She jokes that he is a bit slow, but still did great. Now it is time for the second step, and she prepares a blue liquid vial. The mage tells him to take off his shirt, and despite his confusion, she dips her fingers into the blue liquid. She draws a glowing magic circle on his bare back to create a path for mana. After she is done, she tells him she is about to inject the magic and he needs to feel it. When she touches the circle, a massive pillar of blue light erupts, completely surrounding our surprised hero. As he concentrates, the energy feels completely different from before, reaching deep inside his body. Inside the mana flow, a terrifying image of a giant, many-eyed insectoid creature with a glowing red eye appears. The girl is thrown back in shock, gasping as she sees the violent mana flare coming from his back. He struggles to remain a vessel for the mana before a massive burst of energy explodes between them. As she injects the mana, a colossal shadow of a mantis-like magic beast manifests behind him, dripping with thick black fluid. The horrific beast looks down with intense malice, its massive eye revealing dozens of smaller, glowing red pupils. Black fluid drips onto the girl's forehead, and she looks up in terror as the ominous energy flares out of control. Her hands are stuck to his back, and she panics as she realizes all her mana is being stripped away. Suddenly, the red wolf's tail sweeps in and pulls the girl away from the boy's back, saving her from the drain. As the wolf growls, the girl wonders if it realized she was in danger. Our sweating hero turns around, shouting to ask if she is okay. The mage realizes she saw a mental image, a place where a person's nature and power take form as a world of its own. Stunned that such an ominous presence exists in his unique mental landscape, she looks at the boy and demands he be honest with her. She asks if he consumed an essence core, the crystals found inside magic beasts. He realizes she means beast essence and confirms that he has. The girl nearly loses her mind, demanding to know how many he ate. He calmly explains he has been eating them for 10 years, guessing the total is in the tens of thousands. He scratches his head and asks why it is a problem, standing there shirtless and covered in thick scars. She shouts that it is a massive problem before explaining the danger. She warns him that humans who eat those crystals usually die or transform into magic beasts. He does not seem bothered, but his left eye starts to glow with a sharp red light. In the demonic realm, the energy there is called foul energy, and anything that absorbs it gains massive power. This buildup creates an inner core, which is basically a physical manifestation of a being's karma. The scene shifts back to the group traveling through an open area while riding on the back of the massive Tarask. The girl's suspicion grows as she remembers the Dark Priests, a historical group that appeared when the gates first opened. As foul energy devoured the world, some humans began worshipping the monsters as if they were angels. She remembers those Dark Priests were lunatics who ate cores and sacrificed humans. Knowing our hero has eaten tens of thousands of them is terrifying. She wonders if he is a Dark Priest but realizes he is too honest and open about his mindscape to be one of them. Watching him casually eat a disgusting monster core is just bizarre. She wonders why anyone would choose to do that, even if they did not know the danger. Claire, the squad's companion, spots the boy munching on monster cores and gets annoyed. He just copied the monsters he saw, but she warns him that no matter the circumstances, he must stop eating them immediately. She says it's a miracle he's even alive, and that he could seriously die from eating those crystals. Staring at his hand, the boy remembers the warning that these cores could turn him into a monster or kill him, but he wonders if the information is wrong since he feels fine. Still, he starts to worry if his lack of guilt after killing and his constant craving for a fight are actually side effects of what he's been eating. The boy's expression turns cold as his left eye glows with an intense light, signaling a shift in his mood. Our protagonist promises to try and stop, but the woman yells at him not to take it lightly. She warns that if he keeps this up, he won't just die, he will lose his ability to use magic too. He's so shocked that she wonders if magic is actually more important to him than his own life. The companion explains that mana manifestation, creating magic from energy, is basically impossible for him now. He still has one chance with mana arts, a different kind of combat magic, which immediately grabs his curiosity. Their journey leads them to the massive stone towers of the fourth pioneer city. Spotting a massive crowd of mercenaries in the square, the boy is stunned. Captain Jonathan tells him it's too early to be surprised. Meet Holy Knight Raymond, a high-ranking warrior assigned to oversee the mission. The crowd watches in awe as he walks toward the registration desk with total authority. The knight's presence is far beyond any ordinary mercenary. Our guy asks if crowds always gather for these warriors, but the captain explains the request came from a tycoon named Wolf, known as the Golden Bug. The boy asks if that's some kind of insect monster. Shocked that the boy hasn't heard of the Golden Bug, the captain explains the man was the wealthiest tycoon in the region. Sadly, he also reveals the man died suddenly. He asks if it was an assassination, but the captain says nothing is confirmed. Since the man is dead, his two sons are now the ones in charge. The sons inherited a massive fortune and need it transported safely inside the protective barrier. Our guy finally understands why thousands of mercenaries showed up. Their group is finally called forward. The captain shouts that this is the crucial moment and drags our boy toward the desk. The captain presents the boy to the knight as their squad's powerhouse, bragging about him taking down the villain Mad Skull and taming a werewolf. The crowd starts whispering, wondering if this kid is the legendary head crusher from the rumors. Sweating at the attention, the boy asks about that ridiculous nickname. The captain tells him to just roll with it, to make things go smoother, since a big reputation is a huge benefit. The knight awards the squad 100 gold coins and orders them to move out at dawn. While the captain celebrates, the boy asks if moving cargo really pays this much. His boss explains that half is for the work, and the other half is for their name value. The captain teases him about his new title, explaining they got a premium payout because people think he literally crushes the skulls of his enemies. Our boy thinks the name has terrible taste. With the captain calling the gold a jackpot, the boy realizes this fame might help him find a teacher for those mana arts. That night at the headquarters, a rowdy crowd gathers around the arena to watch a brutal fistfight. While someone takes a punch in the ring, the boy wraps his hands. He's jumping in to learn mana arts through combat. The boy tells the healer his plan is to bait the knights. Chronicles say they're drawn to the strong, and if they acknowledge him, he's in. Rumors say those respected by knights get treated well. In the arena, the boy puts his reputation on the line to grab their attention. A massive opponent charges, but the boy effortlessly ducks and delivers a brutal strike that draws blood and sends the man stumbling. He slams the mercenary face first into the dirt with overwhelming force. The crowd cheers as a new challenger jumps in. Our guy catches the knight's eye while he's drinking, but he knows he can't get complacent yet. He needs to crush more than a few people to get noticed. Wiping out dozens is the only way to make a real impression. Standing calmly among dozens of downed fighters, the boy knows his display is working. From the balcony, the knight finally orders his apprentice, a boy named Rex, to engage him. Our boy realizes the apprentice is coming, which is where his plan really begins. The apprentice looks insulted, hating that he has to fight some common mercenary. Looking up with a sharp gaze, the boy simply declines the fight. He knows this rejection is how the negotiations for those arts will actually start. The apprentice is stunned and fuming at the blatant refusal. Our guy stands his ground, knowing the real struggle is just starting. On the balcony above, the two warriors watch him with intense focus. Repeating that he'd rather not fight, the boy stays focused on his goal. The scene shifts back to the mercenary headquarters under a bright full moon. As night falls, the companions look confused among the murmuring crowd. The apprentice finally snaps, shouting down to ask what the hell the boy means by saying no. While the younger knight fumes, his master stays calm and asks if the boy has an injury keeping him from fighting. Our protagonist stands silently, keeping his expression hidden. Confidently waving a hand, the boy assures them he's fine. When the master asks why he's refusing, our boy puts his hands on his hips and explains he's just a mercenary chasing money and power. The boy explains he won't fight for free and proposes a wager. The master is intrigued but skeptical, asking what a mercenary could possibly offer a knight. Our guy admits he's no legend, but he has a plan. He pulls out a massive sack of gold, declaring he has plenty of money to burn. The crowd is stunned he'd gamble with honorable knights. The master tells the boy to keep his money. Instead, he proposes that neither side be held responsible for any injuries during the duel. Our guy watches him with a sharp, calculating gaze. Once the terms are set, the boy realizes this is perfect. He won't have to pay any medical bills and can beat the apprentice to his heart's content. He gives a thumbs up, saving his demands for after he wins. The apprentice prepares with deadly focus, standing opposite a very calm boy. The crowd goes wild, betting their fortunes on the boy. His friend, Jacob, warns him to signal if things get dangerous, but he's confident. The apprentice asks how far he should go, and the master coldly orders him to go all out. He knows this opponent won't be an easy win. Swirling yellow energy bursts from the apprentice as he stamps the ground, sending a shockwave across the dirt. The knight blurs with speed that's on a totally different level. He delivers a devastating mana-infused punch that erupts in a burst of light, catching our boy completely off guard. Sweating with blood on his chin after dodging the blow, the boy realizes the truth. Taking a clean hit from that technique might actually kill him. As the assault continues with trails of energy, the boy thinks these mana arts are actually pretty interesting. Despite the blood on his face, he smiles while barely blocking the next strike. A flurry of glowing strikes forces the boy into a defensive stance. Grabbing the boy's shoulder, the apprentice calls him a feral beast and vows to make him regret everything. Suddenly, the master asks if his name is Jin. The crowd is shocked to see their favorite getting pushed back. As the healer watches in fear, a kick sends the boy skidding across the dirt. The master gets a strange feeling while watching the fight. He remembers the boy taking down everyone else in a single blow, yet his movements now are strangely passive. Raymond watches the duel with a sharp gaze, wondering if his opponent is hiding some kind of plan. In the arena, Rex gathers mana into his fist, shouts "Rah!" and lunges forward. Jin stands his ground as the knight moves in with a powerful mana-infused punch. The golden punch hits with a massive explosion, sending the protagonist sliding across the shattered ground. Yet he stays on his feet. Rex yells in shock, "He's insane! Get out of the way!" as the shockwave ripples through the stadium. A spectator in the crowd shouts, "He blocked the Holy Knight's mana arts with his bare hands." Jacob looks on with a stunned expression, asking, "Is something like that even possible?" He stares in disbelief as Jin stands tall despite the damage. Jin wipes blood from his chin, deciding he's done gauging the knight's strength and wants to test his durability next. He lunges with incredible speed, his bandaged fist aimed directly at the torso. The apprentice is caught off guard by the sudden burst of power. The apprentice gasps out a pained K-hook as the force of the strike sends him flying back. His master watches with wide eyes, stunned that he's making such a face from just a simple punch. He realizes there is a massive gap in power between the two fighters. Raymond realizes he was simply savoring the fight. Jin's eyes glow with a red intensity as he watches the apprentice struggle, looking down on him with a fierce, predatory grin while the boy coughs violently on his knees. Our boy taunts his opponent, asking if he is only still standing thanks to his mana arts, basically magic combat techniques. The knight's apprentice is hunched over, panting and sweating profusely as he tries to recover. Flexing his bandaged hands, the mercenary admits he is curious to see just how many more hits the kid can take before another strike can land. Jin looks up in confusion as Raymond steps between them and declares, "Enough." He acknowledges the apprentice has lost and agrees to grant the requested favor as promised, ending the duel right there. Jin sighs and lowers his guard, disappointed the fun ended so early, but he is satisfied that his plan was a success. The stadium crowd goes wild, cheering, "Whoa, that's our head crusher," while another mercenary shouts, "I knew you had it, you bastard." Raymond and Rex stand on the arena floor as the winner turns to leave. Night falls over the opulent mansion of Golden Bug Wolf. Inside the white estate, a man is greedily stuffing his mouth with greasy food. Derek and Cedric, the sons of the Golden Bug, gorge themselves at a table piled with meat. One asks if it will really take 10 whole days just to get inside the barrier, cursing the Church Alliance bastards. They've shoveled so much money into those pricks, yet they're still all talk and no substance. Cedric asks with concern, "But will we be okay until then?" And Derek replies, "There is nothing else to do." In the dim blue-lit room, the brothers continue to eat even though their backs are covered in horrifying glowing blue pustules. They can only pray their bodies hold out. A knight demonstrates the Holy Flame Slash, a supreme technique bathed in golden light. A loud clang rings out twice as the impact carves a giant crater and sends crows flying from the trees. Raymond sheathes his massive blade as Rex claps and cheers, calling him absolutely incredible. He tells his master he is the hope of all Holy Knights and asks how it's even possible to be this perfect. The master just smiles and says, "It's your turn now, Rex." The apprentice shouts with enthusiasm, "I'm ready. I'll give it everything I've got." Jin watches from a distance, thinking the boy reminds him of his pet red wolf, Doggo. He looks at a tree stump and wonders if this is the true form of mana manifestation, noting it looks far stronger than anything shown by Giga-class knights. Raymond asks Jin, "Do you think he can cut it without relying on a technique?" and tells him to watch closely. He explains that just as muscles tense and veins rise when flexing, one must maintain a controlled flow of magic energy within those muscle groups. Jin realizes these instructions are exactly what Claire taught him. As he concentrates, a wisp of blue mana escapes his mouth, and his arm begins to glow. He looks at it in disbelief, wondering, when did all of this accumulate inside me? And why so much energy is flowing through him? Jin senses the quality of the energy, thinking, such a gentle and tranquil flow of mana. He recalls a memory of meditation with Claire and realizes this is her mana. The blue energy begins to swirl around his body as he focuses. The master tells him moving slowly at first will help draw out the power, but the aura around the mercenary becomes dark and jagged. His sword is suddenly enveloped in unstable, thick purple flames. A giant question mark appears as the energy becomes increasingly powerful. Raymond thinks he can execute mana arts right after learning it and is in total shock. More terrifying to him is the swirling vortex of dark purple energy now completely engulfing the blade, and he wonders what that flow of mana actually is. The knight explains. Mana arts usually manifests its color and shape based on the user's inner mindscape. He looks at the dark, terrifying aura with growing concern, wondering, Jin, just what exactly is lurking inside your body? The mercenary just smiles back with a sinister and confident expression. Our boy performs several swift and powerful sword slashes, the purple mana trailing behind like a dark flame. The ground shatters beneath his feet as he tests the limits of his new intense power. Jin looks at his glowing purple sword and thinks, is it because my mastery over it is still so low? It's burning through way more energy than he's exerting. But it looks cool, and he's itching for real combat. The scene shifts to a massive Tarrasque, a giant armored turtle, walking through a field. Claire is amazed, telling Jin, you've already mastered mana arts? That's an incredibly difficult feat. You're amazing. He responds humbly that it's all thanks to her, but asks with concern if she is feeling all right since a portion of her mana transferred into his body when she helped him. She smiles warmly and tells him, so just consider it a small gift from me, since he saved her life back then. He walks beside her, realizing the amount of mana was actually massive, and he can't just let her sacrifice slide. As he reflects on how quickly he grasped the arts, an arrogant voice calls out from behind. Rex sits on a horse, looking down and mocking the mercenary for being thrilled just from learning the absolute basics. The apprentice lectures him to show respect, because Lord Raymond is sacrificing his valuable time for someone like him. Jin looks bored while Claire stands by with a deadpan face. Realizing the kid is still holding a grudge, he decides it is the perfect time to poke his ego and start a fight. Our boy suddenly slaps the horse's rear, making its eyes bug out as it lets out a terrified neigh. Rex screams, "No-no-whoa!" as the animal bolts into the distance. The master sighs, promising to keep the boy in line so he won't cause any more trouble. He's a bit disappointed they didn't throw down, but a loud shout from the front calls someone a little brat. Raymond looks confused just as a pile of dishes is smashed. A voice screams, "I told you I was hungry. Hurry up and bring out the food." Jin asks, "You mean Golden Bug's sons?" and the knight confirms it. He calls it the usual arrogance from the masters, who haven't stopped gorging themselves ever since their father died. If their meals are interrupted even slightly, they fly into a rage while workers load the Tarrasque. Raymond tells Jin, "Thinking too much about it will just give you a headache. It's best to just ignore them." Jin looks skeptical, wondering still, isn't it a bit weird to gorge yourself that much just to relieve stress? He has a bad feeling as he sees a close-up of a sweating, strained mouth and throat. Jin's unease grows stronger, feeling like a monster is going to come crawling out at any second. Nearby, a grotesque, distorted face with vein-like growths and a bulging orange eye shoves meat into its mouth as the premonition deepens. Suddenly, the massive Tarrasque goes berserk, smashing the carriage into splinters. The beast lets out a deafening RROA-AARARR, while our boy watches the chaos unfold from the foreground. The beast's head slams down as it screams, sending everyone into a panic. Mercenaries shout in confusion, asking, "Why is it suddenly acting like this? What the hell is going on?" Raymond sits on his horse, looking shocked as the aggression of the beast carrying the passengers escalates. Raymond has a look of sudden realization and exclaims, "Golden Bug's sons." He immediately shouts for his apprentice, and Rex responds with sword drawn as a nearby warrior charges his blade with glowing light to contain the threat. Raymond shouts, "Our top priority is the safety of the passengers. Find a way to subdue the Tarrasque, even if you have to kill it." Rex acknowledges with an understood, just as dark spikes pierce the beast, causing it to thrash in pain. Just as the beast is pinned, its body erupts. A massive purple fleshy mouth filled with rows of sharp teeth and a long tongue bursts from the wreckage, letting out a horrific scream. Claire stutters in terror, asking if that thing is a demon human. Jin repeats the term as she explains these are people who transform into demonic beasts due to the karma energy from the demonic realm. Her face is shown in a sweaty close-up filled with dread. A voice identifies the creature as a demon human, while Jin realizes humans can turn into monsters. Raymond prepares his sword, drawing a deep breath to activate his Holy Flame/Supreme technique, and leaps toward the fleshy mass. Raymond's Holy Flame Slash descends like a massive pillar of golden light, cleaving through the monster's fleshy form. Blood sprays everywhere as the beast continues to move despite being split open. Raymond shouts Rex in alarm just as a massive fleshy limb looms over the frozen apprentice, who lets out a desperate cry of "Ooh!" The golden light fades, but the monster's severed pieces begin to wriggle and pull back together. A grotesque circular mouth lined with teeth forms as the beast begins to instantly regenerate. Raymond's eyes widen in disbelief as he shouts, "It can regenerate? Wait!" He screams for his apprentice again, but the grotesque head looms directly over the terrified knight, who is frozen as the shadow engulfs him. Rex grits his teeth and mutters, "Damn it," as he faces the monster. In a violent blur, blood splashes across the ground and his sword falls into the dirt. The monster's massive jaws and tongue snap shut around Rex while Raymond and Claire watch from the wreckage in shock and grief. Jin's eyes narrow as he remains alert. The beast thrashes as the bloody sword is sent flying through the air. Jin looks on in surprise, while Claire and the remaining mercenaries are frozen in a state of pure horror. Raymond's face is contorted with fury and despair as he shouts, "Damn it!" He charges toward the monster with his sword raised and glowing with golden mana. Another knight joins the charge to avenge their fallen comrade. Raymond leaps from his horse, cape billowing as he slams his sword directly into the monster's open, fleshy mouth, sending blood spraying everywhere. The master yells, "Holy Flame Slash," as a massive burst of golden energy erupts, cleaving through the monster's entire body. The beast lets out a piercing scream as it is split into multiple pieces with chunks of black blood flying everywhere. Raymond dives into the monster's remains, shouting, "Stay with me, I'll get you out of there." He finds his apprentice partially encased in digestive fluids and writhing tentacles as the monster attempts to pull him back in. Dark needle-like tentacles erupt from the earth, pinning the group. Our protagonist watches with a hardening expression as Raymond desperately clings to Rex, screaming for the boy not to give up on him as he decides to finally intervene. As the tentacles strike, Jin becomes a blur of gray. He uses his sword to slash through the appendages surrounding the knight, providing a much-needed opening to retreat with the boy. The knight falls to his knees after pulling the boy away. Panic erupts as the mercenaries scream, wondering if they're all going to die now that a holy knight was defeated, while Jin narrows his eyes at the abomination. The monster pulses with dark purple energy, revealing its true form as a demon human. It's a grotesque mass of fleshy lumps and red eyes, and our guy notes that this is the horror humans become when they turn into an abomination. Jin briefly wonders if devouring those inner cores will turn him into a monster one day too, but he quickly shakes the thought off. He's got to take this thing down first, so he grips his sword and charges the beast's massive mouth. The boy's slashes do nothing, as the monster's limbs regenerate instantly. He realizes the thing's digestive and healing abilities are insane, and if he isn't careful, this is going to turn into a brutal battle of attrition. Dodging a massive bite, Jin knows he needs to conserve stamina while hunting for a weak point. He lands a powerful kick and another slash, but the creature's flesh just flows back into place like it didn't even feel the damage. Letting out a roar, the boy hurls a shard of debris into the monster's mouth. The mercenaries rally, shouting that they're with him before launching their own ranged attacks at the beast. Suddenly, a blue light erupts as Claire opens her magic book and chants for their blades to withstand the darkness. The magic flows toward the team, slowing the monster's regeneration as someone shouts that it's actually working. The mercenaries coordinate their strikes, screaming to keep the severed pieces from reattaching to the main body. Jin smirks, glad they aren't just standing around trembling, as more fleshy spikes fall from the abomination. The abomination pulses with even more energy. Our guy watches closely, realizing the fleshy, vein-lined creature is shifting its aura for a terrifying new transformation. Distorted faces suddenly burst out of the monster's shoulders and chest. A mercenary screams in shock, recognizing the faces growing out of the shoulders as the golden bug's sons. Now a multi-faced nightmare, the monster launches a barrage of black, oily tentacles across the field. In the chaos, the knight desperately calls out for his lost apprentice. Captain Jonathan of the Black Marlin Mercenary Corps shouts a warning to watch out as the oily flesh moves on its own, reabsorbing into the creature's body. Jin leaps through the air, cutting through the reabsorbing mass to reach the fallen knight. The monster tries to grab him, but our guy strikes the arm back with a powerful blow. The beast roars from its multiple mouths, while the protagonist skids into a defensive stance, standing as a shield between the monster and the exhausted knight. The captain rushes up to ask if Jin is all right. He's fine, telling everyone to stay on their guard while warning that the monster's new faces gave it a massive power boost. The boy explains the strategy: slice through the layers until they expose the mana core. Jonathan is confident because he's stronger and has already figured out its patterns. Deciding to stop holding back, our boy lets his sword become engulfed in intense dark mana. He's finally ready to put his new mana arts to the test. Trailing purple energy, the protagonist charges straight for the creature's largest mouth. He shouts as he leaps into the maw, ready to end this. Jin delivers rapid slashes, while the captain pins another limb to the ground with a well-aimed spear throw. The monster roars in agony as its flesh is torn away. Jonathan orders the mercenaries to keep the pressure on, and simultaneous strikes slowly uncover the deeper layers of the beast. Plunging his sword deep into the glowing blue core in the beast's chest, Jin's red eye glows. He tells the creature its time is up as the multi-eyed core begins to crack. As Jin pulls his sword out, the blue core shatters into pieces. The massive monster begins to fall apart into dark mist as the exhausted mercenaries finally lower their weapons. Fragments of the core lie scattered on the ground as the mercenaries erupt in cheers. They shout that they did it, certain their names will become legends for defeating such an abomination. Our guy tells the men they did good work, but his somber expression remains as he picks up a glowing blue core that hasn't dissipated. Watching from the trees, the veiled woman calls the sons of Golden Bug pathetic just like their father, surprised that the brat is still breathing. The woman wonders if the man fighting alongside the group is the one she's looking for. She notices our boy holding the glowing sphere and asks what he's doing. The protagonist stands alone as he prepares to use the object. From the shadows, the mysterious woman watches intently, asking herself why he'd bother harvesting the creature's inner core. Later that night, Jin sits by a small campfire and takes a large bite out of the glowing inner core. As he swallows the energy, his vision begins to swim, and a memory starts to play out in his mind. From a spectral perspective, our guy realizes he is in someone's memory, watching a large, overweight man tied to a stone slab etched with a magic circle. The veiled woman appears in the vision, standing coldly over the captive. She tells him his father's death was just incompetence and demands he prove himself with results if he wants to live. The man groans as she tells him to show how special he really is. She then pulls out a vial of glowing blue liquid. The man's eyes bulge in terror as the woman pours the blue liquid directly into his eye. Black corruption immediately begins spreading across his face as he lets out a muffled scream of agony. Jin gasps and doubles over, sweating and panting from the vision. Wiping his mouth, our boy remembers that eating an inner core can sometimes let you gain the beast's power, but it also forces you to absorb its memories. Realizing the memory came from the Golden Bug's sons, Jin suspects the liquid contained karma and knows who that woman is. The boy whispers the words Dark Priestess in shock. Claire suddenly walks up and tells him they need to move, but she stops when she notices how much he is sweating. Claire suspiciously asks if he ate another core. Jin wonders how to explain the side effect of seeing memories, but he simply tells her it's nothing serious to avoid giving them the wrong idea. Deciding to keep the secret for now, our boy joins the group as they prepare to move out. From a nearby cliff, the red-haired priestess watches them leave with a thoughtful hum. The woman suspects he's plotting something, noting he gulps down inner cores raw while doing the same work as the Church Alliance. She's curious if they'll be allies or enemies the next time their paths cross before she finally retreats further into the shadows. A sword marks a grave as the group prays to Ea, the god of balance. They honor a man who devoted his entire life to peace. The knight kneels, praying that this life's passing will not be in vain for a brave apprentice. Our boy watches silently, remembering their only fight, until the knight suddenly turns his head as if sensing something nearby. High above on a rocky ledge, the red wolf stands in silhouette. The knight is convinced the god Ea is personally consoling them with a divine sign. The knight gives thanks for the divine sign, but our boy calls the beast a mutt he's raising. The knight is horrified, calling it a blasphemy. The knight gives thanks for the comfort of Ea, believing the wolf's appearance is a divine sign, but the beast just yawns on the cliff. The knight is stunned as the demon beast leaps down and obeys the protagonist. He can't believe some random individual tamed it after Jin calls the creature a mutt. The knight asks a favor regarding the beast's name. The knight stares in disbelief that some random individual can tame this sacred beast. The knight asks a favor, call the beast Rex. He wants the sacred animal named for a warrior's resolve to fight evil and purify the demon realm. The knight explains his reasoning, noting the apprentice never let go of his sword while fighting evil to the very end. After the boy asks if it's okay, the wolf gives a small nod to carry the dead warrior's will. MC accepts the name Rex just as an old man arrives, walking in at a totally awkward moment. An elder, one of the most powerful people in the region, approaches them while wearing a red blindfold. A character card identifies him as Bo, the elder of the third pioneer city. The knight bows deeply and looks nervous as he realizes the powerful master has finally arrived. The elder questions the situation, asking if they killed the client for his wealth. Our boy gets suspicious since lost money always brings accusations. Mentioning that the abominations remain a mystery, the master suspects a dark priest, basically an evil magic user, is involved. Bo asks the boy for his thoughts. Jin is shocked the master knows his name and glares back, asking if he's being suspected of being a dark priest. The master keeps a heavy, scary presence without saying a word. At the massive stone Vritra arena, in the third pioneer city, the elder notes the fighter's sudden appearance and incredible feats. Bo finds the links to the monster incident suspicious. Our boy thinks it makes sense since he's actually from another world. MC is annoyed by the duel request, and the knight argues the boy is too tired to fight right now. The elder asks if they won't cooperate with the investigation, acting completely unreasonable in the knight's eyes. Our guy is hesitant to beat up an old man, especially one who only suspects him because he's strong. The master drops his cane and glows with a fiery aura, proving his rank comes from pure skill, not age. He vanishes and reappears instantly, catching the boy off guard with his terrifying speed. Bo strikes with a technique called striking the great bell, hitting with a ringing impact that sends MC flying. Our boy grunts and crashes hard into the stone floor of the Vritra arena after that massive impact. The knight shouts for him to stay sharp since these monks are elite martial artists, and the elder is their strongest. The master lunges again, warning that things are about to get serious if the boy doesn't step it up. MC is stunned when the elder catches his blade barehanded, hitting the same spot where the monster injured him earlier. Looking down, the boy realizes he's fully healed, even though a wound that deep should have taken 2 weeks to recover. Seeing the damage fade, MC wonders if he gained the abomination's regeneration by eating its core, and he starts grinning. Thinking he hit the jackpot, the boy strikes hard. The elder parries and admits the kid is getting him fired up. The master stops, having confirmed the rumors of the boy's strength. Now, it's time for the next step. He activates a spiritual vision called My Mind's Eye, radiating waves of power as his blindfold begins to glow. The elder explains he gave up his sight to open this third eye, proving one can only be filled after being emptied. This soul eye pulses as the master challenges the boy to show his true essence, a dark priest or a new light. The vision reveals a terrifying, giant green mantis-like creature with dozens of glowing red eyes lurking within the boy's soul. Bo is chilled by the vision and stumbles back, realizing the boy isn't evil since his soul didn't collapse. The master stumbles away as his energy fades, completely shaken by what he saw. The vision of the multi-eyed forest beasts fades, leaving the old man staring at his trembling hand. Jin asks if the elder is okay, noticing he can't feel the man's mana anymore. Behind the blindfold, the master is sweating and wide-eyed. Bo bows respectfully just as a newcomer enters, their shoes clicking as they offer a polite greeting. A girl named Cindy introduces herself as the youngest daughter of the Golden Bug, an influential family, with a mission request. The girl repeats her identity as she walks forward, looking to entrust the group with a mission. The scene shifts to the foggy forest, where Cindy explains that these monster attacks aren't a one-time thing. She explains that people are turning into monsters while the demon realm contaminates the woods, and they have finally arrived. They find a rift core, a pulsing mass that spreads the demon realm, while robed figures pray for mercy. The robed monks continue their solemn ritual around the pulsating purple mass of the rift core. Workers in plague masks spray mist onto the core while chanting a desperate prayer. Our boy asks if karma, the world's spiritual energy, should weaken this far from the Northern Empire. The girl confirms his theory, stating that a dark priest must be the one behind this contamination. The girl warns that increasing monster numbers put their city in danger, and the elder adds they might lose it all. The elder explains they've been trying to locate the dark priest's hideout, and finally found their base, inviting the boy to a mission. MC is happy to be recognized by such influential figures as the elder and the heir of the Golden Bug. As the group moves out on turtle-like transport beasts, a voice mentions how worried they'd been about the situation. Claire warns that being accused of a dark priest carries a fate worse than death. As Jin imagines a spiked Iron Maiden and torture, they arrive. The boy stares at Yurgis, a massive walled city beyond the barrier that makes the pioneer cities look tiny. The boy smiles at the safest place on Earth. Nearby, the girl tells the mercenary Raymond she needs a new job. She is far short of the money needed for the magic tower. The mage admits she is only a beginner with common knowledge. She wants to learn higher-class magic at that academy. Our protagonist thinks her drive to earn money for study is admirable. He pulls out a large, heavy bag of coins and asks her if the gold will be enough. He insists it is a gift for the magic tower to repay his debt. The girl panics and refuses, while Jonathan watches nearby. The mercenary laughs at the payout. Blushing and protesting, she watches as the boy presses the bag into her hands. Nearly in tears, grabs his sleeve and whispers her thanks. The girl vows to repay this kindness. Our boy remains calm, telling everyone to stay healthy before he walks away. They watch him go while a giant red wolf yawns in the grass nearby. The beast looks up at the horseman, who just quietly sighs. The mercenary watches him leave, wishing for the wolf's health as birds fly over the sunset sky. Armor clanks as our guy marches past high stone walls and columns of guards into the camp. Master Bo and his associate Cindy watch from the battlements. She notes he looked worried earlier because the boy absorbed a bow, argues that absorbing a core doesn't make someone a dark priest, but the woman scoffs at his careless judgment. She claims cores drive men insane and asks if Bo only protects the boy because he hopes some humanity is left. The master flinches and goes silent, coldly stating he doesn't want to continue the conversation. The woman promises to keep the secret, but warns that if the boy fails, the elder who vouched for him will suffer. As she walks away, the master tells himself that such a betrayal won't happen. The boy's power is now immeasurable because his mind hasn't collapsed. His maintained humanity is proof of his incredible strength. They watch him because the world isn't ready for his power yet. The master trusts the potential of the marching soldiers. He believes the young man holds power that will bring hope. Below, the expedition force begins its long trek. The column moves with the heavy rhythm of war, accepting there is a time for peace and a time for fighting. The narrative voice commands him to draw his sword and unsheath his blade to destroy evil with absolute conviction. Without warning, our protagonist smashes a rock into his own forehead. A soldier stares in horror as the bloody stone drops. He counts to 600 while regeneration, a core ability, uses writhing, worm-like tissue to knit his flesh together within 10 minutes. Bones from the last beast healed in 2 days. He wonders if a severed arm would regrow in a month, proving cores are worthwhile. A soldier calls him head crusher for the self-injury. The expedition's supreme commander, a man named Roland, just smiles. The leader of the Order of Harmony likes talent, adding that a true genius should have a bit of madness. The commander praises him because Bo recommended him. Our guy ignores the genius talk and asks for the plan. They're clearing a forest north of the third pioneer city within 10 days. Our boy asks if 10 days is too long. The commander winks and calls him a genius, but a sudden tremor cuts him off as the ground erupts. A bloodsucker rat leaps from the dirt. As a soldier screams for the commander, the leader reaches for his sword. The leader cleaves the rat in two. He explains that rift cores expanded the beast territory, and now 10 days might not be enough. Earth erupts as an ambush begins. The leader yells for everyone to prepare for battle, while more rats screech through the surface. The rats swarm, killing a soldier. Our boy is shocked to see they can dig through the ground to bypass defense. The leader orders them to cover each other's backs. While the line stabs at monsters, our boy moves past him with blinding speed. The commander yells for the genius to watch out. He watches in shock as the boy is buried under a pile of monsters. The pack swarms him until he is completely submerged. The commander screams, asking if he's lost his mind. Inside the pile, he stabs necks and bites into a glowing blue core. He wonders if devouring 40 of them will grant him a digging ability. To him, the demonic beasts are no longer monsters. This is inheritance, a low chance to gain skills from cores. It is how he survived in the demonic realm for 12 years. He feels full after 40 cores but has no digging skill. Suddenly a bright light shines as a soldier approaches. A soldier clears the rats and asks if he's okay. Our guy snaps at him to maintain formation, annoyed he can't eat secretly. He stands up and smashes another heavy rock into his own forehead, leaving the nearby soldier frozen in horror. A deep gash opens, but blue mana threads immediately begin knitting his skin and bone back together. He wipes his brow to reveal unscarred skin as the commander starts playing a violin nearby. The boy is stunned as the music buffs everyone's stamina. He realizes the commander is actually a supporter, not a swordsman. A commander orders a counterattack. The energized soldiers slaughter the rats with ease as night falls over the camp. In the evening camp, an officer with a megaphone announces they are recording everyone's performance for rewards, so please cooperate. Near a campfire, 2 soldiers discuss our protagonist, admitting they just can't figure him out after seeing him smash his own head with a rock and charge right into the monsters. As soldiers gossip about him digging in the dirt, our boy is on his knees, frantically clawing at the ground inside a tent. Thinking inheritance requires luck since he didn't gain a digging ability, he is startled when the commander Roland asks if his body is all right. Stopping his work, the protagonist turns to face the commander at the entrance. He looks a bit embarrassed to be caught digging in the dirt and apologizes if he startled the man earlier. The commander smiles and says not at all, admitting he thought the mercenary would die. But our boy proved himself, hunting 267 leech rats alone. For comparison, the average soldier got 5, while even the holy knights, the elite church warriors, only hit the 150 mark. The commander calls him a prodigy, but our guy thinks the numbers would be reversed if he hadn't focused on eating monster cores. He then asks if the officer was part of the support force. Surprised, the man asks if the kid is looking down on supporters. Our boy clarifies he just expected someone interested in raw power, so he was surprised by the truth. The commander sheepishly clears his throat and admits he was seen right through. The officer admits that in his heart, he wants to wield a sword too. When the kid asks why he doesn't just do it, the man turns solemn. He explains the Order Alliance fights for peace, since countless people are losing homes and dying because of the demonic realm. The commander explains that he chose the most helpful role, using his top-tier musical skills since his swordsmanship is just average. Watching him, our protagonist realizes the man is much more decent than he thought, despite the earlier babbling about prodigies. Our guy asks for a performance sometime, and the commander laughs and agrees. The scene shifts to the camp flags waving in the wind as a full week passes for the expedition. Inside the command tent, officers report hitting kobolds while advancing into the demonic realm to destroy rift cores. They note that monsters get stronger the deeper they go, but the commander confidentially notes that the soldiers are far more spirited than when they started. The commander watches the battlefield with a stunned expression, asking for a pardon while a soldier stammers about the scale of the assault. A goblin swarm charges in, but our boy tears through the front line alone with a single decapitating swing. The protagonist slices through a lunging rabbit-like beast. Standing over the corpses, he retrieves a glowing blue monster core and bites into it, hoping to absorb its power. Swallowing the dud core, the kid is frustrated. Back at the tent, the commander laughs at reports of his efficiency, but a serious knight is bothered, asking if being outdone by one mercenary hurts the pride of the Order Alliance. The serious knight fumes that the mercenary will claim a massive amount of the performance rewards. The commander stops laughing and focuses, replying that a good thing is a good thing since they have barely any casualties. High above a jagged canyon where the wind howls through the narrow pass, 3 silhouetted figures watch the army's approach from atop ancient stone pillars. Looking down, the masked man asks if the Alliance is on their way and how they found this place. A veiled woman on an adjacent pillar calmly responds that they planted so many rift cores it would be weird if the army hadn't gotten suspicious. The woman notes their youngest sibling anticipated this move, despite her otherwise perceived incompetence. From a third pillar, a man in a wide hat tells her not to worry about the plan. The man in the hat remains unbothered, noting the enemy's reaction was only slightly earlier than expected. He views the army's speed as a minor deviation rather than a threat to their defense. The man states that this won't interfere with their great plan of darkness. Down in the canyon, the commander and his men stop in shock when they find the path choked with massive spiderwebs. The commander stares at the sheer volume of webbing covering the cliffs, asking what kind of madness this is. The army is dwarfed by the massive webs, and within the traps, dark silhouettes begin to skitter toward the soldiers.